In this morning show, we are here to inspire you about building your own business and helping you stay on track of your goals. It's a daily cup of motivation. A supportive group of women who wants to see you succeed in your business, and we'll support you every step of the way. Right in the morning. Just put your mind to it. Coffee with Nikkie. Wake up everybody in the morning. Wake up everybody. It's coffee with Nikkie, and we have to get our drink on. So educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Hey, we riding, yo. Wake up in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm yawning, brainstorming when my mind is forming. Time to tune to this morning show early in the morning. Listen to Coffee with Nikkie. Oh yes, she's busy. If you need help, tune on the channel right with me. Strong, independent women, make it sound easy. Wake up everybody in the morning. Wake up everybody. It's coffee with Nikkie, and we have to get our drink on. So educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Hey, we riding, yo.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing this amazing morning? Today we got a special guest on the show. We are going to talk about taxes. I already planned on talking about discipline, and this goes hand in hand for what I need for myself, because I need to be more disciplined when it comes to my taxes. Yes, I end up doing everything that needs to be done, but it could be so much easier. I'm not stressed out. It just takes me like maybe a day or so to get all of my information and my documents together, when I could have been doing it all year long. So Miss Betty Rose is going to join us, you guys. Miss Betty Rose has been doing taxes for years. She's certified and everything. So she's going to get on here. She's going to tell you all about what she does and how you can do better, and also tell you about her experience, because the girl knows what she's doing. And I love to celebrate our members of our BBU tribe, because everybody has talents and, a profession that can be utilized for business. And so I want to share Miss Betty Rose with you all, especially if, tax time's coming. And oops. Can you guys see me? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat real fast. I know I just jumped off their screen. I don't know what happened. I think the internet just went out. So let me know if you guys can see me. Okay, good. All right. So with that being said, I am Miss Nikkie. I'm your host of Coffee with Nikkie, your daily cup of information and inspiration. I am also known as the Dean of Bubble Babes University. And I am so happy that you all are joining me this morning to be talking. I'm going to see who's in the room. My thing keeps on stopping. See who's in the room, shout you all out, and then we are going to get on with the tax talk. All right, so let me see who's in the building. One time real quick, put ones in the chat. One time real quick, ones in the chat before I start talking and running my mouth. Ones in the chat. Okay, good. Okay, so here we go. All right, good morning, cousin. Cousin is in the building. She is first this morning. She is the best moderator on what? Earth. The best moderator on earth is in the building. Good morning, cousin. Good morning. We got Miss Betty Rose in the building. Miss Betty Rose says, good morning, everyone. She said, good morning, Miss Latrice. I am blessed. Good morning, D. D says, hey, all. Good morning, LaRasha. Did I say it right? Good morning, LaRasha. Good morning. Hey, Trina girl, where you been? Good morning. Happy New Year to you. I don't know if I said Happy New Year to you. Yeah, I think I did. Well, good morning anyway. Good morning, Trina. Thank you so much, Trina. I absolutely love it. Everybody, please, and thank you, hit the like button on your way in. Yes. Good morning, Big Meech. Big Meech is in the building. Big Meech got a shirt on her site. Meech, I need you to put your link in the chat, please. Or cousin, can you put Michi's link in the chat, please, for her Black Friday energy. We are going to keep our Black Friday energy all year long. It does not just have to be once a year. We are going to keep that energy up all year long. We're going to put in the same amount of of pressure. We're gonna put the same amount of pressure that we put on for Black Friday all year long. So if y'all with me, let me know. But Big Meech got a shirt and it's called Black Friday Energy. So you guys go and support your fellow BBU tribe sister and go on and grab you one of those t-shirts, please, and thank you. She got that wake up opening. Okay. Good morning, Martini. Good morning. How are you doing this amazing morning? Good morning, Lakeisha. Keisha's in the building and it's early on the West Coast. So she in the building early. Good morning. It's storming here. Severe thunderstorms, tornado sirens just ended though. And I think it's coming up this way. I don't know if we're going to have the thunderstorms, but I do know that we've seen snow and it's going to be rain. So, and we have all of this snow, which means it's going to turn into ice. So, it's going to be a mess. Good morning, Christina. Good morning. How are you doing this amazing morning? Let me see. Okay, so I think I am up to date. Yes. Good morning, Jules. Good morning. We got BCMC in the house. Hey. Let me see. OMG. Out here is snowing and 34, but later it's going to be up to 57. Woo! I needed to be up to 57 too, Meech. And Meech says she ain't too far, so I needed to be 57 so we can melt this snow away because we got a lot. Good morning, sis. Good morning, Chantel. How are you doing this amazing morning? Good morning, Melissa. Melissa's in the building. She said, good morning, everyone. I'm blessed. It's going to be 22 in Houston next week. A blizzard. What? Let me see. Things been a little crazy. My mom been really sick and in the hospital. Oh, I got you. I'm not so sure what's going on, but I pray all is well. And that cousin, please say a prayer for Trina, for her family, and for her mom. I pray all is well with your mom and your family. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, cousin. That's Michi's page. Make sure y'all go on and grab you a Black Friday Energy shirt, please. And thank you. Good morning, Kim. Kim is in the building, another West Coaster. And she is up early too. I think Martini, are you in California too? I think she is. To order the custom t-shirt, go into my custom t-shirt listing and under add your personalization type Black Friday Energy. Thanks for your support in advance. Yes, there's Big Meech right there. So let me see. El Nino being a brat sounds like a blizzard of 90. Sounds like the blizzard of 95. Oh, that was a big one. All right. So also we got 3 West Coasters in the morning. So they up here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me this morning. So now that we got that underway, you guys, we're all in. We're all in this together, right? We are in for a special treat. I am going to be bringing up Miss Betty Rose. Miss Betty Rose is in the building. Good morning, Miss Betty Rose.
Good morning.
There you go. I'm like, I can't hear you. All right, Miss Betty Rose. So if you guys have not put a face to the name, this is Miss Betty Rose, Cann Candles. Her candle company. Well, you could tell all about your candle company. Tell us about your candle company and also tell us about your profession.
Well, I'm Betty Rose, and I own Cann Candles, and I created this company for my daughter, Caitlin, who's an autistic adult, because she's aged out of the school system and not able to work outside of the home. We created this candle business to have her have something to do from home. She helps create candles. She helps chooses the scents, and then sometimes she helps out at the vendor markets when we go. And she's my pride and joy. She's my firstborn. And she loves it. She has her moments, and she has a little attitude sometimes, but I love her. Hey, Miss Kim.
She's mine.
Yeah, she's my little lifer here. And I'm also a bookkeeper and accountant for the last my second daughter's 23. Yeah, over 23 years. And I do bookkeeping, taxes, file returns for everyone. Pretty much everything that you could learn in the tax industry, I can pretty much do, and bookkeeping as well within reason and legally.
And tell them expand a little bit more on the legal part, because you was telling everybody you scared everybody last time you was on,
Well,
telling
this year I'm
everybody
going to do
they
better.
going straight to jail.
I'm doing better this year. We're not going to use the jail term too much this year because I think everybody, which I pray, learned from the last time. Learned from the last time. So we're not going to talk about jail too much because everybody's not going in there. Everybody's going to consult God for wisdom and discernment, and everybody's going to do right. Right? Everybody going to do right, right?
Put ones in the chat. Put ones in the chat if y'all gonna do right
everybody's
this year.
going to do right because, the way the world is going right now, we do really need to be on the up and up because you never know what's going to happen. And with the elected officials that we have in office right now, they're not really concerned about what's happening with us, even their own counterparts. They're not even concerned about with what's going on. So we have to be concerned with ourselves to know what's going on. I would like to impart what my pastor prophesied to our church on Sunday. She said the word came to store up. That's what she told us, to store up finances, store up resources, store up, because she says that something is coming. And in the Bible it did say we had to when during the time of Joseph that we were going to endure 7 years of famine. So the time is now to store up and do what we can to store up so that we can come on the other side after the famine is over. And I can say this because a few years ago, before COVID came, she didn't know what COVID was, but she said something was coming and it wasn't going to be good and that we were going to be shut in. And then 6 months later, COVID came. So she's my pastor and I love her to life. And, she has received. So I wouldn't say it if I didn't see it for myself. What she said would come to pass. But to put that to the side, I just wanted to impart that to everybody on this morning. Tax season officially starts. The IRS returns to harassing people on January 24th, 2024. Yeah, January 24th is the time where IRS will start accepting returns. And for those of you who make estimated tax payments, your fourth quarter estimated tax payments are due this Tuesday because Monday's a holiday. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is Monday. So your last payment for 2023 is due on January 16th. We haven't had much of what's coming out yet because everybody's been behind. If anybody has any college kids, you just literally did your FAFSA for the coming school year.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So I want you to talk a little bit more about your experience and what you can help everybody else. So I know that you said you do bookkeeping and everything within reason, but what can you help our members, our tribe members? What can you assist them with in their business? Because we all need it. We all need structure. We all need to make sure that we are, like you said, are on the up and up. We all need to make sure that we make this a less stressful time, because this is, for some, this is a very stressful time. So what can you do to alleviate that for them?
Well, to alleviate your stress, if you're doing your own bookkeeping, you should set aside time to assess your books. I know we get busy, we get caught up, and we have orders to fill. But also, if you're doing your own bookkeeping, it's very easy to get behind. And when I say to get behind, like if your QuickBooks is still got 100 transactions on the dashboard that are ready to categorize and you don't have the time to do it, it accumulates. Because remember, your QuickBooks dashboard refreshes every few hours. So 100 could turn into 200, turn into 300, it can turn into months. So, and it's very hard to go in there and spend what could be hours trying to do that. So if you take the first 5 to 7 days of the month to sit down and assess, download your statements and assess what's been going on and make sure everything is properly coded and reconciled, that could give you enough time, a lot of time, and something to look at during the period, especially when you're trying to forecast, and if you're trying to get funding and things like that, you have to have those paperwork in order, and your financial statements need to look correct. And also, being that we just ended the fourth quarter, all fourth quarter items, at least your bank statements, your reconciliation should be done at least to this point. We're in the 9th day of the month, so if your statements have dropped within the first 9 days, you should be able to go back today, tomorrow, or this weekend and reconcile your books for 2023, and to see if there's anything in there that you've missed or anything in there that you need to add on, so that you can be prepared to go see your tax person and be like, hey, here's my books. I did everything. Let's get this done. Because this year, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going on because we don't have too many updates as to what's changed. So if you want to plan for the future, currently plan on what was passed last year to move forward into at least the first quarter, because nothing has been decided as of yet. This is why tax season is always delayed to the middle of January, because when Congress goes on vacation for the holidays, they usually leave things up in the table, and then when they come back in, it's not usually business as usual. So they're usually trying to pass laws before the new tax season opens. They're supposed to literally do that before they go on break, but as you can see, the current climate, they're not really interested in doing that. So
They don't care about us.
they do it. And to be honest, this is why people don't seem to understand when they say you need to vote. This is why. And it's not just about voting in the national election, voting in the small elections in your state, in your county is essential, because those people, you may not pay attention to them, but they can also be detrimental to your business as well. Because the laws that happen when that judge, if you can have a business in your home, they're the ones that make those laws. So you have to pay attention to your local politicians, because if they say, like down here in Florida, a lot of bakers got together over the few years, because our cottage law only allows us to make $50,000 out of our home. And a couple of years ago, they fought very hard marching to Tallahassee, where they raised our threshold where we can make up to $250,000 out of our home as a cottage baker, because not everybody can afford to rent space or to have a brick and mortar outside their home. And $50,000, as you can see, is a drop in the bucket. It's not really money. So they got it raised to $250,000. It also tells us what we can and cannot make outside of our home. But as the threshold increases, it allows people to be within their comfort zone and to be able to make the money to sustain their household. So it's the same thing as us makers, everybody. You have to know what you can and cannot do outside of your home. You have to make sure you have your licenses, you have to make sure you have your insurance, and you have to make sure they're up to date. And you have to pay attention when they say, hey, this person is coming up for re-election. Know your politicians, because if they're not working for you, you need to vote them out. And it's not just like a spiel of being on a political campaign. It's not. It's just the reality of the situation, that they are not caring about what's happening to us, the little people. As I think I said this last year, the last time I was on, we no longer have a middle class. When I said it before, I was telling you they were about to eliminate the middle class. They eliminated the middle class. It's poor and rich.
Okay.
So now it's fight or flight. You can't sit down and be like, hey, I'm going to be fine. It's no longer that time. That time passed 2 years ago. It is now poor and rich. No more middle class. So I'm telling you to say this. Make sure your finances are in order. Make sure you pay attention to the laws that are being passed in your state and in your county. That is the only way you can stay ahead, because you can also prepare for your taxes. Say, like, if right now, from what I'm hearing, the Republican candidates are trying to get rid of the IRS. I would love to get rid of the IRS, but it kind of saves us because when they say they're trying to do a one tax. They're trying to eliminate the tax brackets and give us one tax. Remember, if we go to one tax, it could be a high number. It's not going to be a low number. It's going to be a high number, and we're going to pay for it. The rich are not going to be affected. We're going to pay for it.
Right, because they pay little to none.
Pretty much.
Right.
And it's not even about little to none. They have very good accountants who know the laws. We could curse the orange turd all we want. This stuff was done legally, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So there are ways to pay less taxes. But we as the little people, we don't capitalize on that, and we don't see that. And it's not that we don't see that. We don't make enough to see the benefit. We only see that we're paying the lion's share that they're supposed to be paying.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand our books. We have to take time to see our books from the perspective of, where was I last year? Did I make money? Is there money for me to put aside? Not necessarily to pay taxes, but necessary to grow the business. And for some of you, I don't know where you are in your business. At some point, you need to sit down and think of your exit strategy, because we're not going to be here forever. So we need to know, at what point are we going to lay this down? And have we made enough provisions to lay this down comfortably and know that when I shut my doors, am I going to have money to live off of if this is my sole income? I just learned myself yesterday that, like I said, I'm in a market, the South Florida market, where a lot of cake bakers live here and a lot of celebrity cake bakers live here. And I just found out yesterday that a door has opened for me because one of those cake bakers has closed her doors for good. She was involved in a car accident last year, and she has closed her doors for good. Not that I'm like, ooh, hey, yay, great. No, she was a mentor of mine. She showed me that I could make it in this business by giving me a chance and auditioning me in her bakery. But now her doors are closed for good. So that opened a door for me to be able to get in more than what I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to look at these opportunities. In regards to your tax situation, you need to assess. You need to sit down. You need to look at last year's numbers. If last year's numbers were not what you wanted, you need to sit down and figure out, what can I do to increase my profit, increase the money that comes to me. You need to look at all your expenses. All your expenses should be in your bookkeeping software, showing you how much you paid in supplies, shipping, and you need to strategize and find ways how to cut costs. What can help your business without diminishing the quality of your product, but also how you can cut costs. I believe I don't believe we were ever in a recession. I think the only thing that helped hurt us was the inflation. I don't think we were ever in a recession. But what everybody thinks is a recession should have now waned and subsided to the point everybody should be balancing back to where they were before. And you need to look at these things and look at these trends and be like, okay, things are starting to change. Prices are not going to go down just like that, but you're going to see a change in where everything is starting to backslide. Meaning everything is about to start balancing out. Remember, we're in a new year. We're actually in an election year. So everything should be starting to balance out. And the more they start to balance out, they'll probably balance out starting the second quarter. And by the time you see this, everything starts to balance out, you should have already made the provision to be like, okay, this was high, I need to change. I need to look at where can I buy products that are of good quality but at a lesser price. Shipping will start to slide down probably in the middle of the second quarter, but be prepared that it will go right back up.
Shipping is a mess. I cannot stand shipping.
The thing is, then our government is not taking care of the federal part of our lives.
Mhm.
When he was in office, he did a lot of things. And now, because the current person is in office, he had to do a lot of things. So when he messed with the post office, kind of left us in a place where we barely have a post office to run. So that's why the post office rates are going up, because he did not put somebody credible in there to manage the post office. So, with that being said, on your journey with your business, you need to be diligent in regards to your bookkeeping. Make sure everything is where it should be and as it should be, and you are above board. You never know what can happen or anything that can happen between now and when you file your taxes. April 15th is the national tax deadline. I haven't really looked at the date as to if 15 falls on a Monday or when it falls or any time of the I have not checked that out yet. But April 15th is an on-time tax filing day. That is for 1040s and 1120s. If you're an 1120S, your tax filing deadline is March 15th. If you are not ready for those two dates, get with your tax person and tell them, hey, I'm not going to be ready to file by this deadline. Please ask for an extension. The extension only lasts for 6 months. If you file an extension for your 1120S, your tax deadline will be September 15th. If you have not filed your personal taxes or your 1120 by April 15th, your tax deadline is October 15th. Tax season closes October 15th for the year. So if you have not filed before that time, before the final tax deadline, you are considered late, and penalties and interest will accrue the longer you wait to file your taxes. For my 1120S persons, your penalty is it 2 or 4? $250 per shareholder, per shareholder, and for how many months you have not filed your tax return. So keep those in mind. And for everyone that has an okay, so April 15th is, if it's a Monday, we might be April 16th because Emancipation Day is usually the 15th. Is usually that Monday. So understand that these deadlines, they carry hefty fines. And our government, they usually make money with taxes and fines. The more they tax you, the more fines they put on you, the more money they make.
Mhm.
So if you're able to see your tax person and call them and be like, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it, can you file an extension? It's better to file the extension than to not say anything at all, because once you're late, you're already accruing interest, penalties and interest. Outside of that, your bookkeeping, whatever process you use for your bookkeeping, make sure you peruse it. You take a look at it, take a self inventory of it every month. For those that need help with bookkeeping, I offer diagnostic services where I take a look at your books overall and tell you, hey, you need to look at this, you need to look at this, and find ways to cut corners. Not cut corners where it's illegal, but cut corners where it's helping you to be a better business person and to know how to manage your finances as you move through the first 3 months of the year.
Now, if they wanted to hire you for bookkeeping, do you do it for the entire year? Are you doing it quarterly? Like, how do you do the bookkeeping services that you offer?
I offer monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, yearly, annual, and quarterly services. Depending on what the client needs, I can provide for them. But my main thing is I'm usually offer monthly, quarterly, and yearly bookkeeping. And what that entails is I look at your books, categorize what's on your dashboard, make sure everything is in the proper place, and also to diagnose if, hey, this category is a little high. Is there any way you can find a way to make this a little lower? And try to find ways to cut costs and save money.
Mhm.
So also I provide financial statements. We have a meeting and we go over your financial statements, and we also look at the previous quarter or the previous time period of the same period, different year, and we assess like this went a little high, how can we bring it lower, or this is a little low, how can we bring it up? If it's more about income, you got to find out what's selling and what's not selling. And if something is not selling and it has a history of not selling, you have to think back and be like, is it worth it to keep this item in my income column? If it's not making money and if it hasn't made money for the past year to 2 year mark, it has to go,
Mhm.
because you have to free up your resources in places where it's bringing you income. This year is about storing up and saving money. So whatever can bring you income, you need to work with that. And whatever strategy that you're using that's bringing you in income, keep that strategy. No changes. What ain't broke, don't fix.
Okay. And this is across the board for any state.
Which part?
For you taking on clients in any state. If they
Yes,
have
I
certain
can.
taxes and regulations, you'll be able to do it within whatever state they are, right?
Yes, I do remote bookkeeping services.
Okay. So Ms. Loyce wants to know, what are the franchise taxes?
Miss Lars, are you in Texas?
She is.
Okay. In Texas, they have a franchise tax. It's usually the sales and use tax, and they Texas will always has a franchise tax, and also California has a franchise tax. California has a straight franchise tax of $800. In Texas, I believe that franchise tax, I believe, is $150 if it has not changed. But they will always have a franchise tax. You will have a Texas tax return and a franchise tax return. Yes, Miss Patricia, that is exactly correct.
Okay, so again, I want you to just go into it one more time. How important is it for somebody to stay on top of their books? Because again, I know I struggle with it, and so having somebody else that alleviates the stress for somebody else. So a lot of the people that are listening to us right now, that's in the room now or looking at the replay, this is a service that you could utilize so that you could alleviate this stress, and also to help you to make money and save money, right?
Right. To alleviate the stress, if you don't know where your money is going, how do you know you're making money?
Woo!
Because you could spend money like, I don't know if anybody is still old school using a check register when they go to the store. You may not write a check, but do you walk around with your check register and be like, hey, I spent X amount of dollars at this store and took it off the balance in my check register? It's the same thing of you're spending, you're spending, you're spending. You only know you have no money when the card declines.
Yes. Yes. And that is absolutely true. And a lot of us as makers, we don't pay attention to that. We just be like, oh, we need this. And we'll just go ahead and just go on and buy it, not looking at, and you taught us last year too, how to do a profit and loss statement, not paying attention to what's coming in and what's going out.
Right. And also, key point, because I'm guilty of it too. We will always be like, hey, I need to get XYZ. But did you check your inventory?
Mm-hmm.
Because we could sit here and continue to buy stuff and forget, I might have this already. So before you buy, check your inventory. Always do. I would recommend this to anyone. You know how some places they either do a yearly inventory or quarterly inventory. I suggest you do a monthly inventory.
A monthly?
Monthly. Take a weekday. Take like, how about this? If you know you're going to start buying something, put a couple of hours aside and print out what you have in your system and go take an inventory. Even if you have to weigh your cents, keep an empty bottle of one of those cents of the size you bought it in and weigh that empty bottle, tear the scale and start weighing your cents. Take inventory because inventory is money. And you can't waste money, not in this season.
I was putting that in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, because you can't, in this season, we can't waste money. We can't afford to waste money.
And so the tips and the information that you are giving us and you always provide for us is amazing. Like, where can people find you to hire you or to ask you questions? And please do not just inbox her, just asking her all these questions and not hire her for her service. Everybody is here. We are doing this because, we are sharing our expertise with you guys. And, it would be, don't want to say disrespectful, but on the line, borderline disrespectful, to have her share her expertise with you for you to hire somebody else. Or, I mean, you want to get information, period, and then see what works best for you or who works best for you. But you also don't want to be taking advantage of somebody else's time and not compensating. So, Betty Rose, let us know how they can find you.
I am on Instagram under West Park Tax. And also my website is www.bettysbookkeeping.com. I am also on Facebook under BBITS. And also you can also, like I DM me. I will take DMs. And also my email address, bbits04@gmail.com.
And I will be putting all of this information in the stories. So don't worry if you didn't catch it right now. I will definitely be putting it in my stories. So make sure that you are following our stories. Does anybody have any questions about your taxes, about bookkeeping, about inventory, about reconciling, about your bank accounts? If you have any questions about that, so Miss Betty Rose can answer that for you. And while we're waiting for your questions to come in, Miss Betty Rose, what else do you have to add?
I know there's not a lot of spiritual people, and I know, when we talk about God, some people be like, oh, push it to the side, things like that. But in everything, use wisdom, use discernment, and pray about it or talk to the universe about it, because at the end of the day, it's not only you, it's God. I'm gonna say it. It's God that's helping you through this. It's God that gave you the gift to do what you're doing. So at the end of the day, use wisdom, ask for discernment, and pray about it. Because in this season, we need Him. And in this season, in order to survive, we need Him. We need to take time. We need to do what we need to do, because in the end, We have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not put us here to suffer. But after we survive, we need to live. Because working, what are you working for? Are you
So we have
working
a
to
few
live
questions.
or working to die?
Oh,
Because
say that one more time. That's
at
the
the end
word.
of the day, if nobody pays attention, do you know that the Europeans, they work to live? We here in the United States, we live to work.
Mm. Say that again. Say that one more time.
We in the United States, we live to work. The Europeans, they work to live.
So we gotta do better. We gotta do a better job of this. All right. So Ms. Kim says, Betty Rose, do you provide a business tax 101 service, helping us understand the basics and overview to learn good tax habits?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying I don't like to make money. It's great to make money, but it's also more so to help people understand so that they can make money as well.
And do
Because
like the rich. And do like the rich and stop letting these things that we could write off go through the cracks. Because there's so many things that we are not putting on our taxes because we don't think we need to.
and keep your receipts. If you're spending cash, keep your receipts. Take a picture of your receipts because everybody uses thermal receipts. So take a picture of your receipt if you're spending cash.
And I was doing that with I am doing that with my QuickBooks, is taking the picture of the receipt. Because I had a problem with boxes of receipts. Chantel wants to know, what's your IG again? What's the tax IG?
Oh, West Park Tax.
PARK?
Yeah.
Okay. And so Patricia wants to know, do you prep Schedule Cs for businesses?
Yes, it's part of your 1040.
All right, let me see. It gives the business the right. Okay. Let me see. All right, I got you. I'm updated. Trina says she's horrible with boxes of receipts. I'm telling you what I had my assistant and she had to go through all. I had like 3 shoe boxes and she had to go through all of my receipts. So it was crazy. I was like, I'm glad I didn't have to do it, but I'm saying we need to do better. And so what are some apps or things that we could use to record our receipts?
There's some apps that you can pay for. QuickBooks lets you upload them, but the best way, free, is through your phone. Take a picture.
Okay, that's and nobody ever thinks about that. Make a folder, right?
Make
Make
a
a folder
folder.
and put the receipts in the folder.
As a
Okay.
matter of fact, what you should start practicing is that when you, especially you should do that daily. If you take your receipts, pictures of your receipts for that day, you should also be in the habit of practicing download it to your drive, to your computer, and put it in a folder and delete it off your phone, because you got to keep space on your phone these days. The way these phone people are making money is that if less space, and you got to pay for more space. So do a receipt dump every day. It can't be the Schedule C has to go with the 1040. It can't be done separate. It has to be filed with the 1040.
Okay, let's see.
Because those numbers flow into your 1040, they can't be separated from the 1040.
This is how everybody is having their receipts stored. So Patricia, do you have any more questions about that? So we can while she's on the subject, I don't want to get off of it and then jump into it again. Because then we're gonna have to try to remember what she said before we left off. As you know, I do that a lot. Like, what was I talking about? What does this comment mean?
I actually did had a client. It was a school that was getting audited for 10 years, and she brought me 3 garbage bags worth of receipts.
Garbage bags?
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't read most of them.
Because probably moisture and everything got into it. Okay, so Patricia says, gotcha. I have my tax person do them separate. I prep my personal and they prep the Schedule C.
I don't understand. So you do your personal and they do, so they give you the Schedule C to add to your 1040? Ah, there you go. See? Yeah. Okay, now I understand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had to do that for somebody, but if they want to, I could. But also, if well, I'm pretty sure the person keeps it. I'm not saying, Patricia, you're shady. I know, I love you. You on the up and up. But some people could, no, literally, some people could take that information and doctor it and send in whatever.
Mm.
Got to be careful with that sometimes. But then again, if they do doctor it, nothing was filed, so no harm, no foul. But just be on the up and up. Like if I do something like that and you doctor it, and something else happens, got to keep records of I gave you this, and if you went and did that. Because remember, every time you send something to the IRS and you, no, girl, I know you're not shady. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know because it does happen. People that greed, people that greed run their life, and forget that there are consequences to every action. And thank God you do, because the wrong things could trigger an audit from the IRS. And if you don't have that stuff to back it up, there's a lot of things you could be responsible for.
So I have to change my battery, but because I said, you know what I said, it obviously is not working. But can you give us some examples of things that may trigger the IRS for an audit? And I'm going to put you full screen on the screen and let you explain.
Okay.
And that's me.
Well, there are a few things that can trigger an audit, and there can be no things that trigger an audit. The IRS will just audit you. But they have your history of tax returns filed, and they can determine, hey, this doesn't look right, or hey, that doesn't look right. And especially back in 2018, when they took out the entertainment part of meals and entertainment, if they find those numbers are way bigger than what they're supposed to be, especially for your type of business, and if you did not have those expenses in the past, that can trigger an audit. But it's not necessarily one thing or another that can trigger an audit. You could be triggered for an audit regardless of what's on your tax return if they find it suspicious. Most times they just want you to substantiate the expense, meaning, do you have a paper trail for this expense? So it's best that you keep your paperwork and your tax returns at minimum 7 years on paper. But the best way to keep your tax returns is to just take the paper copy, upload it to a drive, and you could shred the physical copy. But make sure you keep a copy of that tax return and anything that went to create that tax return, because you never know. Anytime your number is up or they call you for an audit, it's not necessarily that you're in trouble for something. They just want to make sure that what they have is legit and that you could back it up.
And we back like we never left. Okay, so what write-offs can we use that we don't know about? What's some common things that we overlook as entrepreneurs that we don't include as a write-off?
There's a great many things, especially industry related. For candlers, all your equipment is a write-off. All your cleaning supplies are a write-off. Anything, your packing supplies, your even the paper clips, everything that you use to create your item in your industry. And I say in your industry because different industry have different things. Say like you're a model. Some of your clothes can be a write-off. And in regards to, okay, let me say this in regards to clothing. When they say clothes are a write-off, it's clothing that you can't wear every day. And when I say every day, it's like you and me, Nikki, are wearing an outfit. This is an outfit we wear every day, but we can also work in it as well. So it's not a write-off. So if you have a Coffee with Nikki shirt, that is a write-off. That is your brand, that is your business, that is your write-off. Even though you wear it, you could wear it every day as just an outfit you wear every day. Because remember, you're also advertising your brand by wearing a Coffee with Nikki shirt. Like a
I should
plumber,
put Coffee with Nikki on everything. So if I put Coffee with Nikki on this sweater right here, right now,
it's advertising.
hey, I put Coffee with Nikki on everything. I put Nikki, Coffee with Nikki, Bubble Babes, BBU, putting it on everything. Everything. Even if
Yeah.
it's on the inside corner.
As long as it's something like regular, like the stars, they wear clothing. Some of them rent clothes. Some of them rent clothing for an event instead of purchasing the clothes. So those are not a write-off for them, because if they rent it, it's not the rental is a write-off, but the actual item itself is not a write-off, but the rental of the item is a write-off because they wore it to X event. Patricia, her suits can be a write-off because she's a lawyer.
I'm a
This is
lawyer.
her everyday attire to be in court, be professional in front of a judge. Because I'm sure Patricia does not wear her suits if she does not have to.
Now, if she wore pajamas and she was working from home, could she write those off?
No.
Those are her work pajamas, though.
Really? No.
Those are her work pajamas. She only worked with those pajamas on.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
Okay, so we have a question from Michi on the screen.
If you pay for a service for your business, is it all? Yes, it is. The fees you pay to register your business, yes, it is. Yes, they are. And remember, May 1st, you need to renew your LLCs.
What day is that? Say it again.
May 1st.
May 1st. Now, in Pennsylvania, we have a thing where it's every 10 years, it said, to do our renewals.
Depending on your state, but here in Florida, it's May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But follow the rules of your state. Those should be actual calendar reminders for you every year. Vendors fees, yes.
And what's some outrageous things that you've seen people put on their taxes as write-offs that you would not even consider?
Season
Well, the
hockey
average
tickets.
person wouldn't consider, because we already know, like you said, Mr. Orange does.
Season tickets to any sporting event.
Season tickets, I'm going. All the tickets from the WNBA game, we did not even. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got them for free. I'm just joking, but
But those depending, like I said, depending on the industry, they can be a tax write-off. And when I say season tickets, it's because if like a car dealership says, hey, you could get season tickets get a pair of tickets for this game through our raffle, those are deductible. They would not go under entertainment. They would go under another expense. Because there are people who use giveaways like that for their marketing, for their advertising, and their giveaways for their business. So those can be deductible. As a matter of fact, someone just got booted out of Congress for his frivolity, and he thought he could write off his Botox treatments, his fans only account, and all that stuff.
Okay, so now let's say you are like what kind of medical expenses can you write off? Like, can you do something like if you're doing something for vanity, if you're like an influencer to like straighten your teeth, glasses, contacts, hair appointments, makeup artists, all of those things. Are those things that you could use as write-offs?
As long as you can prove that it is a necessity for your business, it can be a write-off.
Glasses, okay.
Most definitely glasses, but most of your medical expenses you can take off in your personal return under your Schedule A.
Okay, so Kay has a question here.
Yes. Every year IRS has a dollar amount. Last year was 56.5 cents per mile.
Y'all know I'm always throwing shade at Kay. Kay knows I love you, girl. I love you. Does anybody have any more questions in reference to the things that you can write off? Now, cameras. So I'm looking at my camera now, but I want a better camera.
Yes.
I can
Mm-hmm.
even if I use it for every day too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And even if you provide your proof and everything like that, you can also especially when you're doing your written responses, you can provide all your social media where you've used your camera. They may not think that, oh, it might be her phone, but you're visible enough to know that I'm using this camera. And trust me, every day you say your battery about to die. So
every day I gotta fight to prove my love. Melissa has a question. She says, if you move from one state to another, what would you suggest to move your LLC? Would you suggest moving your LLC to another state?
that is a tricky question, and you'd have to consult the state you're moving to in regards to that information.
She's in
Because okay, yeah, you'd have to. It varies from state to state. The only state you can create a business in that's used everywhere is Delaware.
I need to start a business in Delaware. It's
In
tax free.
Delaware, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the recent the person that won the Powerball, the 1.5 billion, you will never know who it is. They allowed the LLC they created an LLC in Delaware, and they had the LLC claim the winning. And in Delaware, they do not divulge your information, and they do not divulge your business information. So,
So then I have a question about.
You will never know who won that money.
Patricia says, "Oh, you still need to register it if you're register it in your state, even if it's Delaware."
Yes.
But Delaware is right around the corner. I could just go on ahead and get me a boom over there.
Because remember, there are certain liabilities within your state that you still need to register, and they still need to know that you're operating there.
Betty Rose, this was so amazing. This was so good. Does anybody have any more questions in regards to your taxes, in regards to bookkeeping, in regards to her services? And let us know one more time about the services that you do offer and when you're available to offer these services.
I am available to offer these services Monday through Friday. Some weekends from 9 to 5, and if I do offer them on Saturdays, especially tax season is about to begin, from 10 to 2.
10 to 2. And she doesn't sleep during tax season.
I really don't.
So it looks like we have another question in there. Is there a general list of things we can write off as a business?
There is a list. I could provide that to Nikki. Probably tomorrow. There is a list. It's not an exhaustive list because things can get added to it every day. But I can give a comprehensive list of what you can write off.
Okay, so Miss Patricia said we need more classes, more lives from you, girl. So you need to go live on West Park. What is it? West Park Tax?
Yes.
You need to go live there, and you can come live here with us too if you want to do a weekly. We could do bi-weekly. Which one do Miss Betty Rose?
I'd have to let you know.
Yes, please.
I would have to let you know.
Everybody wants more lives from you. See? Told you, girl. Don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. Don't listen to me, though. All right, y'all.
I will do my best to do more lives. Remember, I just got off, my hibernation of, I just did episode 3, so I'm getting a little better.
And you did really well. You really did. You did an excellent job. All right, so everybody, we have Miss Betty Rose, and you guys go on to follow West Park Tax, and that's PARK Tax. Go follow her. If you would like to hire her, please send her a message. Also, she has a Calendly where you can book a consultation with her. So I don't have that link in here, but do you have it?
I think I put it up there somewhere.
I know I have it I have it in my phone, but I didn't have it in the computer. So let me grab that up. And again, this was great information, and it was easy to digest. It wasn't so off the cuff. It wasn't so like difficult to understand. Usually when it comes to this, again, it's like when you think about math, it's like you say, I just don't get it. And so you just totally overlook it. You don't pay attention to it. And this was made in such easy bite-sized pieces that everybody could understand this. Does anybody have any questions, or did everybody feel the same way like I do, that it was easier to understand and to keep track of what you got going on? Let me know in the chat.
Jules, exactly what would we be writing them off for?
Because she works in them. And they're expensive. She works in them. They're expensive. She needs them for her lives, and she needs them for her appearance. She is the owner of Black Candle Makers Club, so she needs to look presentable at all times. Wigs should be write-offs. Are they?
No.
I made a whole thing. I'm like, are they?
No.
Wigs, weaves, hair products, combs, brushes, blow dryers.
They are write-offs to the hairdressers and the hair braiders and to the people that work in that industry.
But what if you do your own hair?
If you do your own hair and you get paid for it, and you get paid for doing other people's hair, yes. But if not, no. Okay, let me put this to you. To keep up with the look for your business. Okay, if you can prove that, and I mean like seriously, if you can prove that with your marketing and your promotions, you could get away with that.
I think she could prove it. What about nails for social media content? They gotta look pretty in the front. Not mine, because mine look like they rough all the time, because I can't work with nails. I tried.
It's a gray area, and things like that, you could probably put them in other general operating businesses expense.
Let's see. Does anybody else have any other questions?
But keep the receipt And if you use it for social media content, make sure that social media content is there.
Do
Because
I need to,
anything,
if we did do something like that, like if you go to get your manicure and your pedicure and it's something that you do use in your social media content, like how would you keep track? Like what do you say?
keep the picture.
Okay.
Like I said, you have a platform where you're using your cameras. So if they say, "Oh, I highly doubt you're using your cameras for X, Y, Z," and they can use that the thousands of videos you have uploaded to prove that you've used your cameras for business purposes.
Now, if your camera is your phone, besides your phone
Your
bill,
phone
how
is
do
already
you write that
your
out?
phone is already deductible.
Yeah, but how do you do it if you're using your phone as your camera?
If you're using your phone, that's the thing. Your phone is already deductible. So use it for a camera. Use it as your office. I've been using my phone as my office since the BlackBerry.
Okay. So Kay wants to know, she's a licensed cosmetologist, and she said, can she write off her braids and her braids and her wigs?
Yes.
Come on, braids and wigs. Write them things off, y'all.
Yes,
Michi
because
says she
she's a
always shows her
cosmetologist.
hands. Sorry,
She's a
say that one more time.
cosmetologist. No, I said she's a licensed cosmetologist. So yes.
So even when she buys her hair for her braids and all of the stuff, all right, Kay, look at you, girl.
That's why I said your deductions are based on your industry. I will do my best.
She
I
said
will
she's
do my
lying at
best.
these questions though.
but here's the thing. They're legitimate questions because, like I said, it depends on your industry. Because if you're a plumber, I shouldn't be seeing Nordstrom's on your expenses.
But what if he's a designer plumber?
Huh?
Listen, I can make people make up jobs all the time. I'm just saying, what if he shows up in designer clothes? I mean, I've never seen it happen, but what if he says that's his business? And
He's
he
gonna
has pictures to prove it.
If you got pictures to prove it, you've got stuff to back it up. Hey, they
Listen,
can
y'all
say
need me
yay
on
or
y'all need me on your team.
they can say yay or nay. But the thing about the IRS is it's all about what you can prove. If you can't prove it, it doesn't exist. To them, it doesn't exist, and they could take it off.
Gotcha. So
It's
Michi
all about
wants
what you
to
can
know. She didn't know that about her phone bill. So what does she have to do? Does she have to show her monthly bill? She's saying.
In regards to the tax deduction,
Yes. Like if you're using your phone for content and stuff like that.
for her phone, if you're deducting the entire phone, you should already know how much the cost of the phone is. If you have not deducted it before, you could put it on your tax return.
Yeah, I said she needs to be a mom influencer then. So if she's a mom influencer, could she write off the baby's milk, the car seat, the daycare? Can she write those things off? If
She can
she's a
write off
mom
the daycare.
influencer?
She can write off the daycare.
Woo! You better do some mom content, girl.
She can write off the daycare.
What else?
You could already write off the daycare on your personal return.
What else can she write off as a mom entrepreneur?
Not much. Not much.
What if she went shopping in Target to do some content and she was picking up some, stuff for the baby like milk and bottles, and she can't write that off? It's in the content.
If she's using it specifically for content and for her business as a mom influencer, yes, she can write that off.
Woo! I love it. I love it.
The thing about deductions and what you can write off, you have to make it specific to your business. You can't just write any and everything off. Right. Because like I said, like the plumber, what are you going to Nordstrom's for?
He's a designer plumber.
But remember, if you know Nordstrom's is basically women's clothing.
He cross-dressed. Listen, He does plumbing and drag.
Or his
Period.
wife took his credit card and said, I'm going shopping.
Or he take his wife with him and she's his assistant.
That's why they say no commingling. It's better to write yourself a check or sell yourself some money from the account than to put expenses you can't write off, because it makes your income go higher, especially when you don't want to pay taxes.
Ever. Okay. All right. So plumbers need marketing too. Okay. Listen, I'm telling you. I'm can make up a reason why this plumber is shopping at this store.
But
what if he's taking pictures and he's stylish next to his plumbing truck? So it's a deduction, right? It's a right.
You're killing me. Like I said, each industry.
Photo shoots. Photo shoots are definitely write-offs, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Yes.
All right, so Miss Betty Rose, clearly the people have spoken. I actually, Nikkie, I was going to school to be a lawyer, but I stopped because I wanted to do entertainment law. But I didn't like the whole constitutional law, and I was like, I had enough. I wanted to be a stylist, and so I left school. So Betty Rose, the people have spoken. We need you live more often. We need you coming on, sharing your expertise, especially when things are changing, when laws are changing, when there's things that we need to be updated or aware of. We definitely need you to be on. I guess behind the scenes, we'll figure out what we can do to make this happen. And everybody, make sure that you guys go follow her again. Support your fellow BBU tribe sister. As you can see, she is well versed. She knows exactly what she's talking about as far as this game is concerned. And if you don't want to go to jail, which she didn't say this time, but she did say last time.
I was good. I was good today. We only
mentioned everybody.
We did this last year. I think everybody got scared straight. So everybody's good. Everybody's good. But one last thing. Even if you hire me or hire another tax professional or bookkeeping professional, don't just leave them to manage everything and be like, oh, my bookkeeper's handling it, my CPA is handling it, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for what happens. If your CPA absconds with your money, you're responsible. Your bookkeeper absconds with your money, you're responsible. If things are not paid and you don't follow up, you're still responsible.
Going straight to
because
jail.
At the end of the day, you hired these professionals, but that doesn't excuse you from the responsibilities of following up and making sure you know what your business is doing. If any of you ever watched A Different World, where Whitley needed to take the required math class, and Colonel Taylor kept telling her, so how do you know how are you going to know about how much money you have? Oh, my accountant takes care of that. Well, how do you know what to do in situations where you need to pay the bill? My lawyer could take care of that. Well, guess what? You're going to be broke. Because if they could do all that stuff, then you ain't going to have no money. And never, ever let anybody sign your checks.
Period.
Tony Braxton learned that the hard way.
Right. We have one more question before we wrap this up. If you pay everyone's phone bill, we need to separate hours, right?
Correct.
All right, y'all. So this was so good, Betty Rose. This was amazing. It was going to be just like a little boom, boom, but this turned out to be a whole live, and we definitely need to do this more often. We'll figure out some things. Again, and get this thing rolling. But with this being said, thank you so very much, Betty Rose, for joining us this morning. You gave everyone in here a lot of insight about what they need to do and things that they need to pay attention to. So that is always welcomed. And I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. I hope that the information that she gave is something that you could use today, tomorrow, and forever, especially moving forward with your taxes. Again, we want to make sure that we are not stressed out when it comes down to doing our taxes, or when we are handing it over to someone else to do. The preparation usually is like, you're like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. You're looking at numbers all day, and you're trying to gather a whole year's worth of spending and what's coming in. It's just crazy, right? And so we're going to make that a whole lot easier. That is going to be something that I'm gonna be working on. I know I said that last year, but please do better than me. Do better. But I am going to be disciplined on that this year, because that is one of my goals. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. So again, I appreciate you, Miss Betty Rose. Thank you so much. Everybody have an amazing day. If you're catching a replay, put replay gang in the chat. Also, let me know how you felt about this episode. If you do have any tax questions, you can send them right on over to
West Park Tax on Instagram.
West Park Tax. I don't know why I thought Blue Park Tax. I was like, what do I get Blue Park Tax from? West Park Tax on social media, on Instagram. You'll find her on Instagram. Also, follow me on social media, Bubble Babes with a Z, BABEZ University, everywhere. I am definitely going to have all of her information up in my stories this morning, and I'll probably do a feature and do a post so that you guys can reference it whenever you need to, and share her information out to yourself or to your family members or to a friend or whomever needs her services. So with that being said, y'all have an amazing day, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Betty Rose, again, one more time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And tell everybody one last thing before we close the show off.
This is the second week of January. Take Saturday to get 2023 wrapped up.
Period. Bye, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.